Hello, and thank you for coming. Tonight offers us a wonderful opportunity. And of course, I hope our distinguished panel on school reform is a wonderful opportunity for you. But I actually mean that it's a wonderful opportunity for me. I'm new to Maine, and it's my job to help students at Bates College grapple with the very complicated beast that is education and educational change. But I know that as a newcomer, I have a lot to learn. And as much as we have seen national figures hone in on school reform as part of a large federal agenda, it is inescapably true that all school reform is ultimately local. And from my initiators to Maine, I've learned very quickly that this could not be more true here. So in order to wrestle effectively with school reform, there has to be meaningful local engagement. We have to figure out at a local level in every new context how to do the difficult work of translating the different universes within which school reform takes place to one another. The teacher's classroom has to be translated to the superintendent's office, and vice versa. The parent's kitchen table has to be translated to the teacher's desk, and vice versa. The federal agenda has to be translated to the local realities. And of course, the local realities have to be translated back to federal decision makers. So tonight we have the opportunity to do some of that translation. We each have the opportunity to learn different languages of school reform, different truths of school reform from different perspectives. And we have the opportunity to wrestle together with how to make these realities speak to one another, how to make them understandable and commensurable to one another. And that you are here tonight attests to the importance of the task. I'm excited to learn from you during the discussion as well as from our distinguished panelists. So tonight we're going to hear from 4 distinct experts who are telling 4 distinct stories of school reform. And we're fortunate to have their time and their energy and their depth of experience and commitment. After each of them speak, we'll have about 30 minutes for discussion. So I hope that while they're speaking, if you think about, because there are going to be 4 people, and by the time we get to the last, you'll think, oh, Glenn Cummings, he said some really interesting things, and I wish that I could remember my questions. So please write down your questions as you think of them. Because I really look forward to hearing your questions and comments and to making this a true civic forum. Education is a quintessentially public endeavor, and it's so rare to have such a public discussion that includes such diverse viewpoints. So I'm excited to I'm really looking forward to the public discussion part of it, and your part is to think of questions as people speak and write them down. So I'll introduce all of our panelists at once, and then we'll hear from them. Glenn Cummings will orient us to the federal agenda in education reform. Glenn began his career as a high school teacher in Gorham. He's had a long history of work in Maine politics, including as Speaker of the Maine House of Representatives. Most recently, Glenn has been at the U.S. Department of Education, where he served under Secretary Arne Duncan as Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Office of Vocational and Adult Education. And while there, he managed a $1.9 billion annual budget focused on improving access to community colleges, adult education, and career training. We'll then hear from Leon Levesque, who hails from Augusta, Maine. Leon Levesque has served as superintendent of schools in Lewiston for 12 years and has seen many changes over that time. His career in education spans 35 years and includes positions as teacher, assistant high school principal, assistant superintendent, and of course now superintendent. He is well poised to orient us to how it looks to wrestle with the many demands of school reform from the district perspective. Norm Fruchter will ask us to look outward, orienting us to how other local efforts to wrestle with school reform have played out. Norm is Senior Policy Analyst at the Annenberg Institute for School Reform at Brown University. Previously, he was Director of the Institute for Education and Social Policy, which he helped form in 1995 at New York University. Previously to that, Norm served as Senior Consultant with the Academy for Educational Development and Advocates for Children of New York, as Director of the Institute for Citizen Involvement in Education in New Jersey, and co-founder and co-director of Independence High School in Newark, which is an alternative high school for school dropouts, and for 10 years, an elected school board member in Brooklyn, New York. He has a great deal of wisdom to share with us and perhaps some insights we may consider adapting in our own context, in our own ways. Finally, Joan Macri will put this all into a different sort of local perspective. Joan helped to write the Nellie Mae Grant, which was one of the wider Lewiston community's responses to educational reform. After a long and distinguished career of teaching and coaching debate at Lewiston High School and creating the Aspirations Lab and other college-related programming at the high school, Joan is now working to increase college enrollment and completion countywide. She works with all Androscoggin County school districts and colleges, delivering services such as early college class coordination, career and college planning support, and professional development. Joan also received the Harward Center's Lifetime Achievement Award for her work when she retired.